Hey guys, today I'm here with another Year of Miyazaki video, and today we're going to be talking about Kiki's Delivery Service. Kiki's Delivery Service was originally released in 1988, and it was written and directed by Hayao Miyazaki himself. This was honestly one of my favorite movies as a kid, and I think it still is. I was talking to my brother about it, and he was actually really mad that I watched this movie without him because, as he put it, that was our childhood. Kiki's Delivery Service is about a young girl who is the daughter of a witch and therefore a witch in training. In this world of magical realism, when a young witch turns 13, she's expected to leave home for a year to finish her training. So one day when Kiki finds out that it's going to be a clear sky and full moon, she decides it's time to leave home and go out into the world to find her place. Kiki stumbles upon a beautiful city by the ocean, which is pretty much where she always imagined she would end up, and that was a parrot. Shh, I'm trying to film a video. Of course, Kiki doesn't actually know anybody in the city, so it's kind of just by chance that she stumbles upon a friendly baker and his wife Osono who put her up in their attic apartment. It's pretty evident early on in the movie that Kiki doesn't really have a direction in life. She doesn't have any particular skill or interest, and the only thing that really sets her apart from the kind of normal non-witch citizens of the city is that one, she has a talking cat named Gigi, and two, she can fly on her broomstick. So Kiki decides to use this one skill of flying her broomstick to start a delivery service which she operates out of Osono's bakery. While living in the city, Kiki does strike up one friendship with a boy named Tombo, who I believe is about her age, and Tombo is basically obsessed with all things flying and flying technology. So naturally, when he sees Kiki flying through the sky on her broom, he's immediately intrigued. Poor Tombo tries really hard to strike up a relationship and a friendship with Kiki, but she's feeling very awkward and kind of like an outsider and doesn't really know how to go about creating this new friendship. Kiki also meets a woman named Ursula, who is a young artist who lives in kind of a wooded area near the city, and Ursula's friendship proves to be very important later on in the story. I just decided that I want to end the summary there to avoid spoiling the entire movie. Okay, for the rest of this video, I'm going to be discussing 3 themes that really stuck out to me in this most recent watching of the film. There will be more spoilers in this part of the video, so you've been warned. The first theme I want to talk about is kind of the overarching, very obvious theme in this movie, and that is the theme of inspiration. When Kiki begins to lose her magic and her ability to fly, she goes and stays with Ursula, the artist, in the forest for a while, and Ursula has some really interesting insights. Ursula compares Kiki's sudden inability to fly with Ursula's own artistic inspiration, and how sometimes when she's just not feeling inspired or copying other people, she can't seem to draw or paint anything. Something that popped out at me this time around that I definitely did not pick up on when I was younger was the fact that Kiki really only lost her ability to fly when she started to use it for a business, for not the quote-unquote right reason. I think that this is a message that anyone with any creative tendencies can really relate to, but I also think it applies especially to people in more creative fields like, I don't know, filmmakers or artists or photographers or, you know, musicians. I am not an artist, or at least a professional artist by any means, but I really do enjoy drawing and creating art. And recently I created a Redbubble page where I've been putting up some of my artwork so that people can buy it on different products. Recently though, I've noticed that I've been thinking more about whether or not what I'm drawing can be put on a product, how it would look on a product, and that really stifles my creative abilities. If it's not a very spontaneous, organic inspiration for me, I either can't draw anything or the drawing just looks horrible and I don't even want to look at it, let alone have other people look at it. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that in the same way that Kiki needed to find something within herself to inspire her to be able to fly again, I personally think that true inspiration doesn't come from outside needs or influences, but it really comes from within. The second theme I want to talk about is self-discovery and growing up. On the surface level, Kiki had to leave home for a year in order to finish her witch's training, but what she's really doing is taking a year to form her own personal identity. Going back to what I said about how Kiki didn't really seem to have a unique skill at the beginning of the film, I personally think that's because she hadn't developed her personal identity yet. She was just leaving home. She was the daughter of the local witch and nothing more. So it's only by going away from her family, by living on her own and dealing with ups and downs and new relationships that she is able to kind of form her own person and through that, her skill emerges. And in case you're wondering, I personally think that her special skill at the end of the movie ends up being her ability to care for others. Although this was one of my favorite movies when I was a kid, I definitely think it's more applicable to me now that I've been through the whole moving away from home and going to college thing, because although I didn't come from a small town, Kiki and I actually have a lot in common. I went to school in San Francisco, moved away from my family for the first time to live in a big city where I had to figure out public transportation, how to juggle school and a job for the first time ever, how to deal with living with new people and making new relationships, which I have to say I was not prepared for as a freshman. Still not really my forte, but definitely was not my thing, interacting with new people. I was not good at that as a freshman. So when I was watching the film in preparation for this video, I actually found myself getting quite emotional because I just felt like I was coming full circle. I never realized that something that was so influential on me as a kid would kind of come back to reflect my own life as a young adult. And finally, my third theme I want to touch on really quickly because I think this video is going to be quite long, but I want to talk about kind of progress and technology in Kiki's delivery service. This is something that pops up throughout Miyazaki's films, kind of the tension between progress and technology and kind of older, more traditional, more natural ways of life. I think it's really interesting how in this film technology not only pushes Kiki forward but also places different obstacles in her path. For example, Kiki only actually leaves home because she was listening to the radio, a modern contraption. She also only ends up in the seaside town because the train she happens to spend the night on happens to be going to this seaside town. Technology also helps her create some relationships while simultaneously complicating her life, like in the case with the older woman's broken yet modern oven and Tombo's propeller bike. Obviously, I can't talk about technology and progress in this film without mentioning the blimp or dirigible. Obviously, it's a very large emblem of progress and mechanization because it's basically a giant flying military machine, but it also serves in the end to kind of trigger events that lead to Kiki getting her inspiration back. Like so many other of Miyazaki's films, Kiki's delivery service doesn't end with an outright yay or nay for progress and technology, but rather with this image of Kiki not only embracing her more natural inner inspiration, but also a little bit of a symbol of progress in the shape of a manufactured street sweeper's broom. Okay, you guys, those were all of my thoughts on Kiki's delivery service, and I apologize if this is a ridiculously long video. I obviously had a lot to say about this film, so if you have any comments of your own or you would like to respond to any of the themes I brought up in this video, please let me know in the comments below. Obviously, the sun is also going down, but before I go, I want to pick my next Studio Ghibli film, and I couldn't decide how to do that, so I put all the names in a jar here. Let's mix this up a little. Ooh, I got Ponyo, which I actually haven't seen yet, so I'm very excited. It looks like a really cute film. I actually know nothing about what it's about aside from like a fish kid or something. So Ponyo will be my next year of Miyazaki discussion video. I will tweet a couple of days before my discussion video goes up in case you guys want to watch it and then watch the discussion video. Thank you guys very much for watching and sticking through this long video. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day, and I will talk to you next time. Bye!